Welcome in. This is the Bitcoin Crypto Weekly Close, and I am the Crypto Bull God. I just like hitting the button. There's really no reason. Hey, if you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop a comment, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm not feeling like myself today. I haven't felt like myself the past several days. I don't really know what's going on, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a shorter live stream. I'm going to go through some key charts. As we always do, there will be a couple additional things that I'm going to go into greater detail on that I haven't in a little bit. But just make sure, if you guys appreciate the content, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, engage with me to help support the channel. And as always, as well, make sure to spread awareness and carry the education forward. And, if you find the content helpful, make sure to share it with at least one person. So we are set to enter our weekly close here on Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about a few key levels that I want to see hold. That's going to close in 4 minutes. But before we are set to close here in 4 minutes, there was something that I tweeted out earlier over the weekend, Bank Run. Hey, what's up, brother? There was something I had tweeted out over the weekend that I wanted to go into greater detail on. So one of the things that, I monitor a lot of different charts, a lot of different time frames. And what's up, Brendan? Glad to see you here. And one of the charts I do monitor for Bitcoin, I monitor the 2-week chart, okay? And I was noticing that we were potentially, depending upon how the week closed out, because this this candlestick on the 2-week chart is set to close today. Okay, it's going to close in 3 minutes. And depending how we closed out, we were going to get a negative cross on the stochastic RSI. So we're above 20, okay, above 20, and we're set to, we'll get a negative cross on the stochastic RSI. Welcome into all the new viewers. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Glad to see you. Scan QR. Welcome in, my friend. So the question I asked myself was, I went back to 2015. So in this case, I'm looking at 8.5 years, more than 8.5 years of price data. And I'm asking the question, how many times has the stochastic RSI been above 20 and gotten a negative cross? Well, I jotted down here 19 times, and you can see that denoted on the chart. So what's denoted on the chart between the blue lines, which I'll explain, and the red boxes are all of the events on the stochastic RSI when we've seen that event, okay? Above 20, negative cross, okay? So of those 19 events, okay, there have been 6 times, okay, 6 times. The 6 times are denoted by the blue lines here. You see these blue vertical lines? There have been 6 times where it's essentially been a non-event, where we received a negative cross, but then the next candle printed and we just continued moving up, okay? And it really didn't amount to anything. Now, in that case, if that were to happen, this would pretty much be a non-event in this case, and we'd stay around somewhere in the 18,000, maybe upper 17,000 area, and we'd just continue churn up, right? Another 8 times, okay, another 8 times, or 42% of the time, what we've seen is a decline of around 24 to 34%. And in terms of how I'm measuring that price action, what that would mean for price is that we would ultimately see Bitcoin go somewhere between 17,300 to 15,000. And then another 5 times that this event has occurred, or 26% of the time, we've seen a pretty large correction. We've seen a 45 to 69% correction. In this case, based, again, how I'm measuring, which is really the top of the candlestick, once the cross occurs to whenever we see the bottom in that movement, that's a 45 to 69% correction. We're talking about a $12,500 to $7,100 Bitcoin. So let me put this in layman's terms for you to try to sum this up for you. Now, the first thing I want to say when we're looking at this 2-week chart is there's, as I always say on this channel, and as I've reiterated many times before, there's no one price indicator to tell you with certainty in terms of what's going to happen. There's nothing in any chart or any indicator or any data science model with certainty that's going to tell you what's going to happen, right? But what we can do in this case is we can use the stochastic RSI and the history of it in this case in terms of what happens to formulate a logical decision in terms of what's most and least likely, okay? So here's how I would frame it for myself. There's approximately a 74% chance based on this negative cross that we're going to get. Boom, we close for the week, and we'll take a look at the weekly chart. there's a 74% chance that it's either a non-event or we're going to go a little lower. Okay, somewhere between 17,300 and 15,000. Okay, so there's a 74% chance of that. There is a 26% chance, okay, that we're going to have a huge sell-off and we're going to go down to 12,500 to 7,100. Now, what's my own personal opinion? Well, based on my own personal opinion, from looking at all the charts and data science models that I've been sharing with you guys, you know, I have that video out there that's pretty recent that speaks to why right now is a generational buy opportunity. And there are a lot of other additional charts and data science models as well that indicate that it's very, very, very likely that the bottom is in. And if it's not in, we're pretty fucking close, all right? So I find the 26% probability event of going down to 12,500 to 7,100. Again, there's only a 26% chance, so it's less likely. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to be in that 74% likelihood that either it's going to be a non-event, or we will get some wick that will create a double bottom or go slightly lower than the bottom that was created here at 17,600. Okay, so that's my personal opinion, but just something to watch out for. Again, last thing I would say on this in terms of if you're not good with numbers, it's like if you flipped a coin 10 times. What I'm saying is 7 to 8 times if you flip the coin, it would result in either nothing or a smaller correction from where we're at. 2.5 times flipping the coin would result in a very devastating drop, which would devastate the market. So just wanted to kind of point out the probabilities associated with that negative cross, kind of get in front of that, because I'm sure there will be others kind of talking about it. So just remember, last point, there is no one indicator that tells you with certainty what direction the price is going, but something to keep an eye on for sure. So let's take a look at where the weekly close occurred for now. You know, it's kind of tough when you're doing these live streams when not a lot has changed. There really has not been a lot that has changed. We're starting to break below a key line here, which it looks like it's at around 19,000. Is this at 19,000 I have drawn? Yeah. So, but again, I've indicated this, and again, this is a weekly view here, guys. I've indicated this on prior live streams and prior videos as well, is the more we hang out down here below the 200 SMA on the weekly, this area here, this 200 SMA, the pink line, it acts as an area of resistance. And the more we come up here and we just can't seem to break it, the odds are against us in terms of price moving up. The odds are in the favor of continued downside action. So really what we need to see, we need to see volume come in and we need to recapture this moving average. I am on record in saying that I feel confident once we actually do push up and we get a candle body close above the 200 SMA, which right now is at 23,000, we'll call it 23,500. It will change as the candlesticks print. But, you know, once we see a candle body close above here, I do not see a candle body closing below this line again, okay? And Tom, thank you for pointing that. Welcome into the channel. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, welcome to the channel. Make sure you subscribe if you appreciate the content. But we're going to take a look at the DXY in pretty great extent. That's one of the charts I really want to take a strong look at. But really, on the weekly, again, nothing has changed. We need to see a candle body get above. I'm not talking about a price wick. That's volatility, okay? Price wicks mean nothing to us. We need candle body to get above here, okay, and stay above there. Once that happens, I feel confident that we're not going to get candle body closes below this 200 SMA. So that's the only commentary I have on the weekly and 2-week chart on Bitcoin. Now, the 12-hour chart, I wanted to take a more granular look for a moment at Bitcoin and talk about a key area of essentially a support zone that I want to see hold. This is a chart I've shared many times. If you're not following me on Twitter, make sure that you give me a follow at Crypto Bull God. I go over many of these charts, if not all of these charts. It's free content I'm putting out there to try to help everyone. It's just my own, never financial advice, but it's my own educated view. Just genuinely trying to help other people out with what I see in the charts. But the 12-hour chart is something that I find a lot of great value in and holds a lot of historical significance I've spoken to in the past. Essentially, what I'm drawing out here is what I'd like to see where I'd like to see price action get to. and theoretically what I'd like to see within the moving averages, okay? But let's focus on the price action and not these moving averages for the moment. I have 2 green horizontal. This really should be red because we're below it. But, excuse me, I have 2 areas. Actually, for simplicity, it's a lot more appealing if we have them both drawn as green. But on my charts, red is resistance, green is support. I have a support band in between. It's kind of hard to read, to be honest with you. I have a support band in between 18,760 and 18,900. Now, as you know, if you've been subscribed to this channel for a while, we're not fixated on specific dollar points. We're fixated really on price zones, right? So somewhere between 18,700 and let's call it 19,000. I really want to see price stay above there, because the more if we start getting candle body closes in this area in here, there is a higher likelihood and a high likelihood that we're going to want to come down and retest the low that we created back in June. We don't want to see that happen because, as you guys know, the more an area in this case of support, okay, this is currently 17,600 is an area of support. The more we come down and hit it, it doesn't make the support stronger. It actually weakens. It's the same thing when we come up here as we battle test 25,200. If we bang it, it's like a hammer, and the ceiling is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and eventually we're just going to want to break up through it and continue up, okay? So we do not want to come down into that price area. We really want to try to stay above 18,700 and 19,000. Again, the more we get in this, the more we flirt in this area and get candle body closes in the 12-hour in here, the more price is just going to want to come down and back test this area. It's not what I want to see, okay? Let's look at the... Let's look at the Ethereum chart. Let's actually not focus on the RSI. Let's just take a look at price action. So on the Ethereum chart, not too much. Again, not too much has changed. It's tough when you're, like I said, it's tough when you're live streaming and you're speaking to the charts and you're trying to find the most informative things to share. There's honestly not a lot that's changing. So I'll just try to spend a little bit more time covering the key things and not dwelling on things that haven't changed. This was drawn on a 2-week time frame. So if you're wondering why, as you can see, okay, this is valid. Let's just look at it on 2 weeks. That's fine. So the main thing to focus on here is this support zone was lost, okay? And that was between 14 and 1300. It was lost. Now, the more we kind of hang out down in this area, similar to my commentary on Bitcoin on the 12-hour, the more we're hanging out in this area, the more it's going to want to come and retest this area around 975. And again, that's flirting with our low here that we hit in June, which was 880. We don't want to see that, okay? So really what we need to see happen, okay, we have a low here, a high here. We want to still, we could even come down to 975. That's fine. But we want to create a lower high here, excuse me, a higher low here, and we eventually want to come up and battle and beat this descending line of resistance as well as this $1,700 to $1,800 area, not to mention getting past the $1,300 to $1,400 area. So not much has changed on Ethereum. What I did want to spend a moment on is the Ethereum BTC relativity chart. This is on the 2-week chart. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out here is this relativity chart, or in other words, the strength of Ethereum movements relative to Bitcoin is expressing, you know, a high degree of strength, right? Think about this big picture. This is a 2-week chart. After we came all the way down here, what's happened? A high, a low, a high, a low, a high, a low, all higher highs and higher lows, right? And since then, we've just consolidated in this area. But one thing I do want to point out to you, okay, one thing I do want to point out to you, if we look at the RSI, we are getting some negative divergence here, right? As price was moving up, here it debatably went down. But you can see the RSI is getting lower and lower, meaning the price movements, the movements behind the price increases here on the chart are getting weaker and weaker. The other thing I would point out, though, is there is a potential broadening wedge forming on the Ethereum BTC chart. Okay, and this is bullish. This could result in a break to the upside. So just like you can draw price patterns, or you can draw patterns in the price chart, you can also draw patterns in the price indicators as well, excuse me. So keep an eye on the broadening wedge, negative divergence on the RSI on the 2-week for ETH BTC. And we really want this green zone of support to hold. That's the other thing I would say. This green zone of support between essentially the 0.058 and like the 0.046. We really want to see those hold. So that's what I would watch out for on the Ethereum BTC relativity chart. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, and then we're going to head over to the DXY. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the DXY. I have a few other charts looking at total market cap and update on the Holy Crypto Trinity. I wanted to look at XRP, actually. Windows crashed on me. It's not surprising for anyone who has Windows that Windows crashed on me. But I want to take a look at XRP real quick, given it had a big week. Why don't we just pull it up now so I don't forget. Yeah, so I was going to say, I'm going to look at the total market cap, the Holy Crypto Trinity. I'll take a couple questions, TA Q&A. So that's where we're headed. Now, and again, if you appreciate the content, make sure to do that, the old thumbs up button. And drop me a comment. I see I have a few new people here, and subscribe to the channel if you appreciate the content. So this is, this pattern is still valid. I have been covering it on this channel for a long time now. It's actually a pinned tweet. If you go to Twitter here, I talk about sort of my broad perspective on the Bitcoin dominance here. You can watch this short little video that is pinned to my profile, and it takes you to a larger scale video, which I would encourage you to watch. It's not a long video, and I think it's very value added. Based on the amount of time it would actually take you to watch it. You can't multitask though. That's the thing about watching my TA videos. You can't sit there and multitask. You really actually have to watch the video. But this is a bear flag, and it's a descending triangle, and it's still very valid. You can see we're facing resistance right in the area I spoke about. Again, guys, it's just basic TA. This isn't my emotional opinion. I don't know how many more times I can state this, and I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. I really don't. I want to show you something here, and this is a basic premise in TA we spoke about when we looked at the Bitcoin 12-hour chart. We hit this once, twice, thrice, 3 times, and multiple times on the 3rd time, okay? And if we come over here, we've now hit it a 4th time. Guys, this area between 40% and 39.4%, it is extremely weak because it's been hit 4 times on 4 separate occasions with multiple candlesticks. This is a weekly view. The 5th time we enter this area, I have an extremely strong, man, I can't even think straight. That's not good to say. You're listening to me and I'm saying I can't think straight. I have an extremely strong, losing my train of thought. But the 5th time we come down here, it's my educated guess, having watched similar things having watched similar patterns play out on other charts, that the 5th time we come down here, whenever that is, it could be October, it could be November, it could be December, the 5th time this thing's going to break. And more than likely what you'll see is, you'll see us come down here, break, kind of come up and want to back test this right here. Again, I'm drawing patterns on the chart that maybe it's just my 15-year-old mentality. You're going to see us break and want to come and back test it. Now it's going to be resistance since we broke below it, and then we're going to retest our all-time low area of 35.4. That is my hypothesis in terms of, in general, what I believe is going to play out, okay? Now let's take a look at the dollar index, the DXY. Now, if you're newer here and you haven't seen some of my videos on the DXY or what I've covered on it, or you haven't, or maybe you've seen other people cover it, but it doesn't really make sense to you, I think the basic thing to understand about the DXY is it's representatory of the strength within the dollar. It's an indice, it's an index, okay? And it's essentially, I don't really want to get into too much of the technicals here or the fundamentals, but it's measuring the strength of the dollar relative to other currencies in the world, okay? But the key thing that you have to keep in mind, this is really, you don't have to know all that gobbledygook. Really, and this is why I like to simplify things and allow the chart to tell me a story. I don't need to pay attention to economic events when I'm looking at a chart, because all that stuff, in my opinion, is baked in here, right? I don't want that to cloud my judgment, because that's when you get emotional and you make you can make mistakes, is when you're paying too much attention to what all the rest of the people are listening to. That's my opinion, what I've been learning in the past several years. But the important thing to keep in mind is the DXY and the stock market assets, as well as the cryptocurrency markets, they have what's known as an inverse relationship, meaning as one goes up, the other goes down. Okay, so in this case, these down arrows. Okay, you see these down arrows. Once we topped here and we went down, and we topped here and we went down. Now, what that's signifying, again, we're looking at the DXY on a weekly. What that's signifying is the DXY is dropping in strength. It's decreasing in value on the chart. But this is when the complete inverse happened in the stock market and cryptocurrencies to a much larger degree. We went on a massive bull run in 2017 going into 2018. We went on a massive bull run from 2020 going into 2021. Okay, so that's really the important thing to keep in mind. So the opposite is true, right? So the opposite is true if the DXY is on an absolute tear. As it's going up, the rest of the world's assets within stocks, the S&P, the Dow Jones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the entire cryptocurrency market, they're going down. Okay, crypto's going down as the DXY here, as you can see, is going up. Okay, inverse relationship between these two. Okay, so fundamentally, that's very important to understand. Now, what I want to do, I'm not going to go back into past history here too much, but there's a double top here that took place back in 01 and 02. And I've essentially, what I've done is I've drawn out a zone of resistance. Okay, this is my zone of resistance right here. And it's between essentially 121 and 117. Okay, now if we broke 121, we can talk about where we could be going next. Okay, but right now, since we're all the way up at 113, okay, my first comment is, now, because we're all the way up at 113, I find it increasingly likely that there is going to be some sort of movement up into this 117 to 121 area, okay? And more than likely, it's my suspicion, and I'll hit on why, more than likely, if that were to happen, and I'm leaning towards that, now that we're all the way up at 113, I'm leaning towards getting up at this 117 to 120, 21 movement. More than likely, that would represent our top. Okay, so why do I feel increasingly confident that if we did get a movement up to the 117 to 121 area, that would represent our top and we would not go higher than 121? Well, look, as I've said in prior videos, we can always remain oversold and we can always remain overbought. Things can remain overheated and be underwhelming for extended periods of time, okay? There could be negative divergences and stochastic RSIs that are overheated or MACDs that are overheated, and that could last for months, okay? So I'm not saying otherwise. I don't want you to miss what I'm saying here. But what I am telling you and what I've pointed out before is, and I pointed this out on Twitter, there are negative divergences forming on the RSI. I mean, this is on the weekly. We can look at it on a 2-week. We can look at it on a 3-day. Okay. The MACD is on fire. The stochastic RSI has been up at 100, playing with this 100 level for a long period of time. Now, I want to say this, as painful, I want to give everybody a bright spot here, okay? And thank you for everyone new tuning in who's hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate the support. Because I got to tell you, today's one of those days where I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, but I'm not feeling like myself. So, but like I said, I love doing this stuff. So I was looking forward to coming out. So I appreciate the support. I know all this. I know all of the 2022 has been a bitch. 2022 has been a bitch. Okay, and one of the biggest reasons that 2022 has been a bitch is because crypto has corrected, but focusing on the DXY, it's because the DXY has been going. Hey, Connor, welcome in, buddy. I appreciate it. I've seen you before. Thank you for tuning in. One of the biggest reasons is because the DXY has been on a parabola, okay? And it's been painful. It's been painful. But the thing that I'm excited about as a technician, okay, as a chartist, what I understand from studying parabolas like this, you can look at, and I wanted to do this before I went live, and I forgot to do this. I apologize. Shit. Maybe I can quick pull this up. God damn it. If we look at Bitcoin, really what I don't want to do that. Let me just speak to this and you should understand this. We could pull up any chart on any time frame. You could look at parabolas forming on a 1 hour chart. You could look at parabolas forming on a 1 month chart. Okay, time frame is irrelevant. Parabolas, which are overextended price movements up to the upside, and there's just a lot of euphoria. That's what a parabola is, right? Everybody knows what a parabola is, right? So it can take place on any time frame. But looking at this on a weekly, we could look at this on a 2 week, we could look at this on a 3 day. The thing that makes me excited is as much pain as we're feeling right now, I am aggressively bullish. Fucking aggressively bullish about when this thing breaks down. Because when this thing breaks down, because it has just gone up in a straight vertical line. Again, if you've been here for at least the past couple months, parabolas are like a tree with no tree branches. So if you fall from the top of the tree and there's no tree branches, there's nothing to grab onto here. You just want to fall down, right? So I'm not saying we're going to have a straight plummet back down to 88. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I have an area of support here at 88 and 92. I'm not saying the DXY is going to fall straight down here. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is the pain, like Mr. T in Rocky 3. What's your prediction? Pain. But my prediction is because this parabola has been so steep, the pain in the dollar index, okay, is going to be that much greater. And if you followed what I said, if the pain in the dollar index is that great and we're going to see a steep decline in the dollar index, that's going to result in a mass appreciation in asset values in the stock market, the S&P, the Dow Jones, and what we're here for, cryptocurrencies, okay? That's what we're here for. So I am actually excited to see this thing just get so fucking overheated because when I feel extremely confident that when this thing falls, when the dollar index falls, it's going to fall hard. We will have a very large run in the cryptocurrency market. So just remain patient. This thing just continues to churn out higher highs and higher lows, but there are all sorts of negative divergences and sort of things and clues and cracks underneath the surface that are telling us that this thing is running out of momentum. And if we do get up to 117 to 121, we'll have to assess what things look like. But I would suspect that would most likely be the range where we would top that. So we'll have to just continue to remain patient. Let's take a look at XRP, and then I'm going to. It's nice to see it up at 50 cents. It feels like it's been in 30s. It feels like XRP is like this stable coin that just stays at 30 cents. So it's nice to see. Jesus Christ, look at how often it's been in this 30-cent range. So it's nice to see it up in the. I mean, seriously, guys, come on, like. For a second, like, can we all just have, like, in good humor here, a nice laugh? Fucking A. Look at this. Look at this 30-cent range. I mean, it's fucking been in this 30-cent range for the last, like, 5,000 years, all right? So it's nice to see it up at 50 cents. But XRP has had a really nice week. You see volume coming in here. MACD's curling up. Stochastic RSI is overextended at 100. RSI is very healthy. The RSI is only at 53 on the weekly. So that's not overheated or oversold. That's 50 on an RSI, like 53, that's in a beautiful area. Okay, beautiful area. Really key areas of resistance I kind of spoke to on the happy hour this past week. We're looking at about 57 cents, which we basically touched here. Again, there's zones of, we hit what, 56? Yeah, we hit 56 cents and, it's 57, 56 cents, whatever, splitting hairs. But really this zone around 57 to 56 cents is first. Descending line of resistance, but then 77 cents would be the next major area. If we break 77 cents, then we're going to start back testing. There's a major area of resistance here, downward resistance here. I have drawn, depending when we would hit that, it'd be around $1, but $1.34. $1 is always a major area of psychological resistance, so I would suspect $1 would hold some weight in terms of resistance. But I have like around $1.34. You could say maybe $1.30. Like you could start drawing in additional ranges. But let's see when and if we can get up to 77 cents in the short to medium term here. Then we can have a more extensive conversation. All right, so I have a few more charts to cover here. I see a few more people joining, so I would appreciate a thumbs up. I would appreciate you dropping a comment, introducing yourself. Let me know who's joining. I would appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel. So let's see if we have any more comments here. Yeah, no. I agree with you, Brendan. Right now, the other currencies in the world are expressing weakness, which is strengthening the dollar. That's kind of how it works. But at some point, and again, I'm not saying fundamentally you're incorrect. You are correct. You're correct. But again, I'm allowing. So fundamentally, you're correct, and it's all interesting stuff to me. But again, I would say 95% of my focus is just reading the chart and allowing me to kind of ascertain what it's telling me. So this is the total cryptocurrency market cap. As you can see, you could actually debate. This is a bull flag, okay? This is the flag right here, and this is the pennant. You could actually debate that. We would have a massive move up going into 23 or maybe even as late as 24. This is also a falling wedge, okay? You could see it's wide up here. It gets narrow. What the hell happened there? It's wide up here, and then it gets narrow down here, okay? But again, the main thing to keep an eye on the total cryptocurrency market cap is just this low that was set in June. The low was set at about $758 billion. So as long as we don't take out this low, guys, just don't lose track. We have a low here, a high here, and we have a higher low here. Okay, so we want to break this resistance eventually and create another higher high, right? Then we have 2 higher highs and 2 higher lows. Okay, to everyone new joining, make sure you hit the thumbs up button for support and subscribe if you appreciate the content. Total 2 and total 3. I'm actually not going to spend any time on total 3. Because total 3 is essentially, it looks very much like total 2. So total 2 is essentially the entire cryptocurrency market cap with Bitcoin's market cap excluded. So it's all of the altcoins. Total 3 is the same thing, but let's strip out Ethereum and just look at all the other altcoins, right? Similar formations. Again, you could make the argument you have some sort of bull pennant here. You have sort of like a falling wedge pattern here. We have several areas of resistance and support, but the main thing to focus on here, again, you still have 2 higher lows and a high here. What we need to do, really what we need to do is we need to start getting up. We really need to break this descending area of resistance, okay? And it might correspond with this red line to around 703 billion, okay, or 700 billion. We need to break this area and get up in this zone. That's really what we need to do, because now you have a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, right? 2 higher highs, 2 higher lows. That's really what we need to see. So there isn't really too much to report to you guys on this chart. Holy Crypto Trinity update. Then I'm going to take questions here. Brian, fuck yeah. I almost wore my Jalen Hurts jersey. I bought a Hurts jersey at the start of the season, and to be honest, I fell asleep on the couch. So, yeah, didn't have time. This is Mana on the weekly. Not much has changed. You really want to see around 70 cents. You want to see that hold as support. We don't want to start flirting with the low back in June, which was at 60 cents, okay? As long as we stay above 60 cents, we're still building higher lows, okay? We just need to see a higher high come in. We need to break. We really need to break around this 110 area of resistance, okay? That's what we need to break. H-bar, not much has changed. I am on record as saying I do not want to see 5.4 cents break. Now, the capitulation wick that came in June was at 4.6 cents. So even if we break 5.4 cents, we still have a decent amount of cushion in between that and 4.6 cents, but I really don't want to break 5.4 cents, okay? So, nothing too much to update here. Same thing with Harmony 1. I mean, there's still these key areas of support I want to see hold. We're still clinging on to our higher low here at 1.6 cents. Where are we sitting right now? So on Harmony 1 right now, we're sitting at 1.9 cents. So we're just sort of, the other thing I'd say, guys, is before I get off this chart, this price action, actually, let's get back to Bitcoin. This sort of price action, and I've spoken to this before, but this sort of fucking bullshit chop, this is what weeds people out, because if you're emotional, when you were up here, you're pissed because you thought we were going to go up here, right? And then we drop down here. You're like, all right, well, we're not fucking breaking 30,000. So you're like, we're going up. And then we drop again. And then we just start doing all this gobbledygook. So people get really emotional. That's what happens. They don't exercise logic and good judgment. Most people, not everyone. I know you guys. You exercise a lot of good judgment and sound risk management and are very logical because you're subscribed to this channel and I'm helping you to be that way. So hopefully you can say that. And I think that you guys are. So. But this sort of sideways chop, all this bullshit, it weeds people out. They get salty and they get out of the market. So while this channel is never here to give you financial advice, none of my content is that. I'm really trying my best to give you an appreciation to give you context on the price action so that you don't get weeded out, really. Because I would hate for anyone to, I think in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion, I think it would be a piss poor decision to sell your investments at the levels we're at. I think you're selling at the ultimate lows or at a level that's extremely close to it. And I think you would strongly regret it in years to come. So with that being said, let's hope we don't go all the way down into the pinch of the total market cap. That will be, you never know. But let's see, where would that be? I mean, it could happen. Sure. We could come up here and come all the way down here. We could do that. It technically create a lower low and really get people out of the market and then begin movements up. That's certainly a possibility. All right. So that's all the prepared. Those are all the prepared charts I had. So I'll take like a chart or two and chart it out if anybody has any charts they'd like me to take a look at. Is anybody here... Does anyone here have any questions on charts? Or does anyone here have a question on anything that, any charts that I covered? Are there any charts I covered that I didn't explain myself well and you guys have a question on what I was speaking to? I just saw your comment bank run. Whoops, pardon the caps. Are you yelling at me? Hey, brother. That's all right. You can yell at me. I need someone to smack me in the face right now. I need a little... I'm hoping when I wake up tomorrow morning, I feel a fuck ton better than what I did. So as I'm waiting to see if there's any questions. So I don't know if you guys, anyone here follows me on Instagram, but I think I told you on the happy hour on Thursday, I went to the beach and I was on Friday and I was already, I don't know, like towards the end of the week, I was feeling out of it. And I worked out Friday morning and I was like, man, I do not feel like going to the beach. I just feel like I could sleep all day. But I was like, screw this. I took off of work. I'm going to go to the beach. So I was at the beach. I was out in the sun for a real long period of time. And thank you. If you could smack me, it would be helpful. I was at the beach for a long period of time. When I came home, I was so wasted. Not from drinking, just out of it. And I slept. I went to bed early. I got like 11 hours of sleep Friday into Saturday. I did not get out of bed until like 9:30. And I just took my time Saturday. I didn't really do much of anything Saturday. Actually, I've been rewatching Mike Malone's Hidden Secrets of Money, refreshing myself on a few of those concepts and kind of reiterating things I need to brush up on from an economic standpoint that I want to learn. But and then this morning, too. And then the problem is when you get that much sleep and you wake up so late, like I couldn't fall asleep last night. And yeah, so my sleep schedule is kind of whacked right now. So I'm going to go to bed right after this and get a lot of sleep tonight. So, nobody has any questions for me. Nobody has any questions. I must do a really good job of explaining things. Nobody has any questions. Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I hope that you found the information in, this live stream really informative. If you did, make sure to share it with at least one person. Make sure to, hey, look, if you're on Twitter, something you could do to help me out, retweet some of this stuff out. If you think that the content I put out is really value added, one way that you could help me out, I do this from time to time with other content creators, share my content on Twitter. Share my content on Twitter if you find it helpful. I don't know why else you would be here if you didn't find it helpful, but I would really appreciate that. Like I said, in the future, I'm going to continue to churn out more and more content. So as you can tell, in the past couple months here, I've been a lot more active on YouTube. That's going to continue. I'd like to be maybe at some point on a 4 to 5 day week, live stream at some point down the road, but we'll get there. But for now, hey guys, really want to express the gratitude for tuning in. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you haven't, and subscribe to the channel for more educational crypto TA content. And until next time, spread awareness and carry the education forward, guys. Thank you. I know I'm bad on those DMs. I'll check it out, Brendan. At least I got back to you on the one of them, but I will check it out. I got to get back to a few people. I saw a few DMs. Peace out.